I used to believe that the biggest day of your life was supposed to be about you. A graduation, a wedding, a birthday. A milestone, a moment you earned, the kind people clap for because you worked hard. But I learned the hard way that people, especially the ones you love, don't always want to clap. Some of them would rather steal the stage, dim your light, and make your moment all about them. This is the story of how my sister ruined the most important day of my life. And how I sent her a wedding gift that made her wish she never said yes. My name is Elsie. I'm 24 years old, and last December, I graduated from university, the first girl in my entire extended family to do so. I worked day and night, tutoring students after class just to afford transport. My mother raised us single-handedly after our father abandoned us for another woman in South Africa. Life wasn't easy, but I held on. I had a goal. And the day I finally walked across that stage in my white gown was the proudest day of my life. I had dreamed of that moment for years. So naturally, I planned a small celebration. Just family and close friends in our backyard. My lecturers even sent me a surprise cake. There was music, laughter, and pride in the air. My mother cried when she gave her speech. My little cousins danced until their legs gave out. Then, he arrived. Samuel. Tall. Confident. Sharp-dressed. My sister's boyfriend. The guy she'd been dating for 2 years, on and off. We never got along. There was always something off about him. Too controlling. Too smooth. He had this way of making every room revolve around him. Still, I didn't expect what happened next. Just as I was about to cut the cake, my graduation cake, the one with "Congratulations Elsie" written in bold icing, Samuel suddenly got on one knee. Right there. In front of everyone. Cameras clicking. Neighbors peeking through the fence. And with a dramatic, almost mocking grin, he pulled out a ring box and turned to my sister, Amanda. "Baby, will you marry me?" The crowd gasped. My mother's hands flew to her mouth. My sister? She squealed. Cried. Nodded like she was in a Nollywood movie. And just like that, my graduation party became their engagement party. I stood there, holding a knife in midair like a forgotten waitress. No one noticed me. No one cared. Even my mother, who moments ago had praised me as the pride of the family, now hugged Amanda like she'd just won a presidential election. People popped wine bottles. Guests danced. The music got louder. And I went inside and cried. That night, Amanda knocked gently on my door. She entered with a smile, her hand flashing the ring under the hallway light like it was some kind of trophy. "I hope you're not upset," she said sweetly, like nothing had happened. I didn't respond. She sat beside me and rubbed my shoulder like I was the one being dramatic. "Samuel said it was spontaneous," she added. "He didn't even plan it. He just saw me smiling during your party and realized he couldn't wait anymore." Lies. Samuel had been planning that for weeks. He had called our uncle in Ghana to ask for our late grandmother's blessing. He had even invited a videographer. There was nothing spontaneous about it. "You could have said no," I whispered. Amanda paused. "Would you have said no if it was you?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. And in that moment, I knew. She never really celebrated me. She envied me. Every single time I achieved something, from getting into university, to being invited on radio, to giving motivational talks, she would change the subject. Make a joke. Find a way to turn the spotlight back to herself. She couldn't stand that I was the first graduate in the family. So when my light was shining brightest, she stepped in to dim it. With her ring. With her performance. With her selfishness. I told myself to let it go. I told myself it wasn't worth the anger. But that night, as I watched her replay the proposal video on Instagram over and over, I felt something rise in me that I couldn't ignore. She wanted attention? She wanted the spotlight? Then she'd get it. But not the way she expected. Months passed. Wedding preparations began. Amanda made it a whole production. She created a WhatsApp group titled Royal Wedding Countdown and added nearly every relative we had, even distant cousins in the UK. She made voice notes, reels, and live streams of her trying on dresses. All the while, she never once apologized for stealing my day. Never once asked if I had moved on. Instead, she gloated. "Elsie, will you be my maid of honor?" she asked one day, pretending to be generous. I said yes. Not because I forgave her, but because I needed to be close enough. Close enough to know the details. Close enough to see the cracks. Because something about Samuel never sat right with me. And if my sister was too blind to see it, then maybe it was my job to open her eyes, even if it shattered her heart. And then, it happened. I was cleaning out my old laptop one evening when I found something odd. A folder. Old photos. Screenshots. Messages. All from 3 years ago, before Amanda met Samuel. But here's the part that stopped my heart. Samuel and I used to talk. He was in my DMs. He used to flirt with me. In fact, we even went on one date. I had forgotten. It was brief. He was charming but pushy. I sensed red flags and stopped replying. He sent one bitter message about how I'd regret ghosting him. Then vanished. Fast forward 2 years, and now he was proposing to my sister. He never even mentioned me. Never told her. And Amanda, foolish and vain, never asked. I thought about deleting the messages. I thought about confronting her. But I knew she wouldn't believe me. Not unless she saw it herself. So I came up with a plan. I waited. I smiled through the wedding fittings. I helped her pick shoes. I stood by her side when she said yes to her dress. And finally, the big day came. The ceremony was beautiful. Amanda looked radiant. Samuel looked smug. I handed them their gift box just before they left for their honeymoon. She hugged me tight and whispered, "Thank you for always supporting me, Elsie." I said nothing. She had no idea. 3 days later, Amanda called me from Mauritius. Screaming. Sobbing. Not because the resort was bad. Not because of a cancelled flight. But because she had opened the gift box. And inside were printed screenshots of Samuel's old messages. Dates. Times. Pictures. Flirting. Begging. Threats. Proof. A carefully typed letter attached read, "Before you start your forever, maybe it's time to finally know who you're marrying." Samuel had lied. He had hunted me first. And when I rejected him, he slithered toward my sister, the one who always wanted what I had. My degree. My moment. Even my trash. Silence followed the screaming. Then a string of broken sentences, like she was trying to make sense of the pieces lying before her. "Elsie, you, he, those messages, how, when, why?" She couldn't breathe. I imagined her on the edge of the hotel bed, wedding gown folded in her suitcase, her face red and puffy, ring glinting on her trembling hand. Samuel was probably in the bathroom, unaware that his secret life had just shattered through the glass walls of their honeymoon suite. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" I paused, then spoke calmly. "Because you wouldn't have believed me. You would have defended him. You always defend what looks shiny on the outside." "Do you think I wanted your leftovers?" she hissed suddenly. I almost laughed. "You didn't care who he was. You just wanted someone to propose first. You always have to win, Amanda. Even if it means losing yourself in the process. I hung up. No goodbyes. No apologies. Just the sound of betrayal bouncing back across the ocean. Later that evening, our mother called. She had just spoken to Amanda. Apparently, there was a huge fight between the newlyweds. Samuel had tried to convince her the screenshots were fake. But Amanda had the dates. She had the messages. She even found his old number saved under EO, my initials. He had deleted the thread, of course. But not his tracks. Amanda locked herself in the hotel bathroom, crying for hours. Samuel left. He never came back. The wedding was just 4 days old. And it was already broken. My mother asked why I'd do something like this after the wedding. I replied, because Amanda never listens before. She sighed, half angry, half defeated. You girls used to be close. What happened? I didn't answer. Because the truth was simple. Amanda was never happy for me. And I kept pretending she was. But the moment she hijacked my graduation to make it about herself, I realized she didn't just want to share the light. She wanted to replace it. The family whispered for weeks. Some blamed me. Others blamed Amanda. Most blamed Samuel. But none of them knew the full story. They didn't see the silent war that had been brewing for years, between two sisters raised in the same house, loved by the same mother, yet taught to compete for scraps of attention. Amanda was always the pretty one. The loud one. The one people praised for her beauty and style. I was the quiet one. The studious one. The achiever. But in our world, books didn't get applause. Rings did. By the time Amanda returned from Mauritius, she had taken off her ring. There was no official divorce, just a quiet separation and a deleted Instagram account. She moved back in with our mother. Didn't speak to me for weeks. Until one day, she left a note on my pillow. I thought I knew him. I didn't. I thought I knew you. I guess I didn't either. But now I do. I'm sorry. And thank you. No signature. But it was enough. We never became best friends after that. But we became real. No more pretending. No more silent battles. Just sisters, learning how to heal from everything we were never taught, about men, about love, about each other. Amanda started therapy 3 months later. At first, it was our mother who pushed her toward it, but eventually, Amanda admitted she needed help. Not just for the heartbreak, but for the years of comparison, insecurity, and approval-seeking that had defined her life. And me? I started writing again. Personal essays. Short stories. Little pieces of pain folded into fiction. It became my own form of healing. A way to process everything, the betrayal, the silence, the things I never said. Amanda and I weren't close in the way sisters are in movies, hugging and finishing each other's sentences, but we began respecting each other's space. We spoke more honestly. We shared coffee some mornings without the tension. Sometimes, that's all healing looks like. Not dramatic reconciliation. Just peace. One day, she sat next to me on the porch as the sun dipped below the mango trees and asked softly, "Did you ever love him?" I shook my head. I never even liked him. She exhaled like she'd been holding that breath for months. Then she said something I didn't expect. I saw the messages before I married him. I froze. What? She nodded. I saw a few. He forgot to delete a thread. But I didn't want to believe it. I thought, if I ignored it, it would go away. There it was. The truth. She knew. She chose not to see it. Because sometimes, we're so desperate to win, to have the picture-perfect moment, that we blind ourselves willingly, even when the signs are screaming. We sat in silence, mosquitoes buzzing, distant laughter from kids in the compound. Then she said, "That gift didn't ruin my marriage, Elsie. It saved me." Her voice cracked, but she didn't cry. She was finally seeing clearly. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about what happens when we place validation above values, when we chase approval from people we barely know, and ignore the truths coming from those closest to us. Amanda wasn't the villain. She was just someone who had learned to seek love in the wrong places, even if it meant stealing her sister's spotlight. And me? I wasn't innocent either. I held onto my pain like a badge, waiting for the perfect moment to expose her mistake. We both lost something in the process. But we gained something more important. Clarity. Some wounds need time. Some relationships need truth. And some people won't learn until the light is snatched from them completely. But healing begins when truth meets humility. And forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over pride. So, to everyone watching this, be careful who you envy. Be mindful of whose love you fight for. And never, ever trade your voice for a moment of applause. Because sometimes, the gift they remember the most is the one that opened their eyes.